Alright, what's up there guys? Welcome back to Digger Detecting. We're in the shed as you can see, and the reason being is because today we are fixing this flat tyre. I'm losing about 20 psi in this front tyre every single night, and the reason being is because I had a stick go through the inner sidewall about 12 months ago. We plugged it, we repaired it, it held up for 12 months, but just recently it started leaking air again. I don't know why, maybe due to the cold weather, but look, it's starting to lose about 20 psi every single night. So every single morning I'm having to come into the shed, start the compressor and pump it up before I go out for the day. That's okay, but $250 to replace this tyre, and it's still got pretty much brand new tread on it, so we're going to try and get away with it. And look, just fix it with this Fix a Flat $30 can of spray. It's like a spray glue and just sprays in and pumps up your tyre. And I'm just realising too, I got sedan instead of four-wheel drive. Whoops, this is a four-wheel drive technically. So we're just going to see how it goes. It's a good test. Mud and sand and stones and sticks and rocks and everything I drive over out in the bush on a daily basis. We're going to see if it works. Let's make a start. So make sure your tyre is nice and flat. Obviously if you get a puncture it's going to be flat, but flatten your tyre down. We've got to shake it up first too. But flatten your tyre right down, because this is going to pump air as well as the glue into your tyre. So you don't want to have your tyre too inflated. Put this in and it overinflates it and damages your tyre. So make sure your tyre's nice and flat before you inject the glue. And basically, any air that still needs to be put in the tyre, well, you just pump it up with an air compressor when you can. If you're on the road or get a flat tyre, you'd obviously do it when you got to the nearest service station. My voice is rattling with the shaking. And I just say an apology to all the tyre fitters out there, because they probably absolutely hate this stuff. When they're changing the tyre, it's probably all sticky and binds together, I don't know. But they're probably absolutely cursing me right now. Sorry guys. Right, well, it's shaken up enough I reckon. Let's connect him up, see how he goes. A little bit of air still in the tyre there. Connect him up nice and tight. And spray him in. And you can see straight away it's pumping up the tyre. It's definitely squirting that in at a pretty rapid rate. And they also recommend, if you know where your puncture is, they recommend to put the puncture at the bottom on the ground. So, and do not shake the can when you're spraying it in. Just spray it all in, finish spraying it in, and then as I said, pump up your tyre the rest of the way with the air compressor. You can see how much we've already went up. It's not going to get you home. Maybe it would slowly, but we've still got a fair bit more to go. Alright, well that's the rest of the can. You just see the remaining contents coming through the tube there. But I could feel the can, the pressure back off on the can. So it's pretty much finished. And the beauty about these cans is you don't have to take the valve out of your tyre stem there. So look, that'll do. Literally just undo the thread there. A little bit messy, but with the valve still stuck in the tyre there, none of that liquid is going to come back out. So that's an empty can now. You can see the tyre is still quite deflated, so we'll pump him up with the air compressor, put him to around 38-40 psi, and then it recommends just going for a couple of miles drive. So we're going to go for a couple of k's drive. So yeah, very, very simple, very cool. Let's hope that it works. Alright, here we are going for a drive, couple of k's, as I said, judging off the can. And tomorrow we're going to be taking the Prado into the bush, so it's going to be a really good test for it. But the reason why I want you to go for a drive straight after you inject that can of glue into the wheel is because it just wants to rotate it, put a bit of pressure on the wheel and find its happy place. And that's what we're doing right now, going for a drive, letting the glue find its happy place. So, and then look, as I said, a couple of weeks this is going to go for. We're going to test this out and see how it goes. But a couple of weeks later, we're going to come back with the results, and tomorrow morning will be the first test to see if it's lost any air. We'll come back and show you. G'day, mate. Alright, so we're about 2 months on since that last clip, and we've got the Fix a Flat tyre spray can in our hand that we use. It's empty. We injected it all into that tyre, so about 2 months ago. We're back to tell you whether it worked or not, and I'll be completely honest straight away. No, it didn't. So the first couple of weeks, I will say, give it credit, it did work, and I wasn't having to put air in that tyre whatsoever. After a couple of weeks though, and as I said, we're 2 months on, so the last 6 weeks, that tyre has been leaking shocking, losing about 20 psi once again every single day. So we're back to where we started. So a $30 can of Fix a Flat tyre spray, in this case, this time did not work. But I will say, not to take anything away from them, I've used them in the past, and they have worked for me in the past prior. Anyway, you'll notice too the tyres on the rear. We did have it on the front left passenger side, but we've put it to the rear since shooting that last clip a couple of months ago. And it's still going flat. It's going to need a replace. The can didn't work, but being on the rear here, we can get away with it for a little bit longer. You will notice that witness mark, the worn mark on the outer edge, running right the way around. That's sort of telling us that it's going flat whilst we're driving on it. It's losing 20 psi every single day. But we'll continue running this tyre a little bit more. There's no way we can run more plugs in the back of it. I think I put about 2 or 3 plugs in it already. It was a fair stick, about the size of my little finger, that went through the inside. So look, a good try, as I said, once again. Fix a Flat tyre spray, a $30 can of spray. Often these do work, and I will say, not to take anything away from them, they've worked for me in the past. But in this case, in this scenario, I'll be truthful, it did not work. So hope you enjoyed, guys. A good little test, a fun little test. We'll see you on the next.